All right, Legacy Charlotte ARCA car, normal 1.5 mile settings here. Once again, feel free to use whatever steering ratio, steering offset that you want and that's comfortable for you. We are going to do 2 laps here. Second lap should be the hot lap. And the one thing that's very different now is that with the marbles being up right by the wall, we can't really do that super up top run up to our hot lap anymore. At least depending on the session, but I believe that's how it's going to work, is that most sessions you won't be able to. I'm also now realizing my graphics look a little poo-poo because I had them turned down for the rain video and I forgot to turn them back up. But that's okay. So we can't run right by the wall, but we can run about a lane off the wall. So second lap we're going to focus on little wide entries. Will be just a preview. We'll be able to turn the car a little bit earlier and better in our actual hot lap, and then try to get the car on that right rear off the corner. Then 3 and 4, we're going to have to slow down quite a bit. I don't think we're going to have to use any brake for the qualifying, but we'll have to get the car turning for sure. We don't want the car all the way up because we won't be able to get that nice runoff. So we got a decent runoff the corner. So a little bit wider entry, a little lift, get the car turning and just get all the way to the bottom. Keep it down here and then just go full throttle, let the car rotate off as it can. Keep it off the wall. A little sketchy, but it was worth it. Okay, now we're gonna get out of the gas a little earlier. We're gonna wait on it a little bit longer down to the white, and then we're just gonna drive the car up the track. Right there, very good. And that's more or less what I can do. With this combo, if your time looks very different, just know that it's probably because of track conditions and whatever with how the official sessions are set up, but that's what you're going to want to do. Let's go over it real quick. So right here, notice how I'm turning the car in. The kind of like what I used to call a grip flick. I'm only just trying to disengage the right rear a little bit, because if I don't disengage the right rear before the banking, it's not going to happen once I'm in the banking. So I got to get it to happen right before, or else it's never going to happen at all. And then that helps me get all the way to the bottom. And then from right here on, I'm just trying to find the like perfect amount of throttle where I can hold my same steering wheel, because if I go any further, it'll probably lock up. So I'm just trying to hold that steering wheel and then just hold the perfect amount of throttle to where it stays along the white line and doesn't slide up. And I do that for basically until the car starts to weight shift, so I get to unload the steering wheel a little bit. And then once I start unloading the steering wheel, I go full throttle. And you can see I had a little moment here where it got a little bit looser than I thought it would, and I had a kind of a suboptimal correction. That's the only reason why I almost hit the wall here. If I would have been a little bit better reactions getting to that correction, then I would have had no issues at all getting off the corner. So you should be able to get off this corner a little bit smoother than I did. Then 3 and 4. So you want to get off the gas even more. I went back and forth between doing a brake tap on entry. I don't think you need it for the hot lap, but for definitely the race, I'm going to be doing it. So I'm just bringing it down to like less than half throttle. You can see how the car never really gets loose here. It's all tight. That's okay in 3 and 4 because it's a wider exit. So we can let it track up as it goes. But we don't want this same sort of tightness in 1 and 2. We want to avoid that by any means necessary. So I back off to like 40, and then I just hold it there until once again I can force that throttle and not have it slide up immediately, and then just drive it straight up the track. Get a good run. All right. Long run's gonna be a little bit different. So this setup, it's one of those ARCA setups where you can run it loose or tight, and it's better to run it loose. How these usually go is that everyone runs the bottom for the first half the race, and then people start moving up top. But with the marbles there, it's not going to be top, it's just going to be like right on the seam. You can't go all the way up to the wall. So like instead of going up to the wall, you go like right here. And this is always better in 1 and 2 than it is in 3 and 4 at these types of tracks, because you can carry more speed through the corner. But in terms of tires, I do just love the bottom. You kind of take a little bit of a shallower arc. You kind of get it into the corner. Oh, I probably should be using brake right away, to be honest with you. Well, we'll start doing that this time, especially in a turn 3 here. Brake is your best friend in getting that early corner rotation. So smooth off the throttle, little tiny brake to get to the white, and then get back on it and wrap around the white. You see how I snapped loose there, and I would have never ever gotten loose on throttle in my qualifying lap. So that's the difference between running it loose and running it tight. So smooth off throttle, little tiny brake tap, and then just have it roll on the white. You can see it's a little bit off, so you can't really do this line if you have someone breathing down your neck, but if you have a couple tenths of a gap, it's definitely worth doing. It's always worth doing in 3 and 4, in my opinion. Because you can only push 3 and 4 for so long before your tires suck. In 1 and 2, you can kind of get away with pushing pretty hard at the beginning of the run by doing the semi-qual line, more of an arc, get it to the bottom, and then force it loose. Like, that uses up more tires than the shallow line, but it's not as much as if you were to try to do that same line in 3 and 4. 3 and 4, I just always default to the shallow, camp the white line. And again, now that our tires are warmed up, we're only about 2.5 tenths off of our qual lap. So I think that is more or less viable for race. Oh. Oopsie daisy. But yeah, those are kind of the lines, and then you start moving up the track as the race goes along, if you have a tire advantage. Or if you're trying to defend, the top line works good too. All right. I slid my rears there at the end, but yeah, you can see how that would be even tire wear if you're doing it correctly. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.